Hey there, it's Johanna, and today let's talk about worry. So recently I was grocery shopping. As I was getting ready to go out the door, I was grabbing shoes, and I noticed a pair of shoes that I hadn't worn in a while, and apparently longer than I remembered. But I was like, oh, yeah, I like those shoes. I'll wear those. Put them on, went on my way, didn't think much of it. So I'm in the grocery store, walking along, finding what I need, filling my cart, and after a little while, noticed my shoe felt a little funny. Again, didn't think much of it. Figured probably a sticker had fallen and I'd stepped on it, or there were some plants at the front of the store, maybe there was a little dirt on the ground that I'd stepped in. I'd deal with it later. So keep going, keep finding what I need, up and down the aisles. And after a while, it's like, my shoe just keeps feeling more and more strange. And finally, I look down. And on the floor, next to my shoe, I see this, big chunk of, rubber from the sole of my shoe. So I pick that up and stick it in my purse. And I look back and there's just this trail of little bits of shoe rubber going down the aisle I had just walked up. And so then I, lift my foot a little bit, and the sole of my shoe had broken into strips that were no longer attached on one side. So they were just kind of flapping. And the last little section, that heel section, had completely fallen off, and some of the others were not far behind. And so I really wanted to just finish up and get out of the store before my shoe totally fell apart. So thankfully I was in Aldi, so there's only 4 aisles, and I was in the last one. So I'm doing this slow, gentle kind of shuffle walk. I'm trying to hurry, but I also want to go as easy as possible on the shoe, so it'll hopefully last until I can get back to my car. So get the rest of what I needed, went through the checkout line, got my groceries loaded in my car, had to take the cart back, and finally got back to my car. Probably no one really noticed unless they happened to see bits falling off my shoe. Took my shoe off to drive home because driving with a flapping sole on my shoe did not seem super safe. Got home, grabbed some different shoes so I could take the groceries in, and I was so flustered and distracted that I wasn't really paying attention to the fact that my groceries had shifted while I was driving. Opened the hatchback, and 2 gallons of milk came tumbling out. One of them was okay. The other exploded all over me. This gallon of milk running down my driveway. And the thing that went through my mind was just, I had not thought to worry about that. And yeah, because I had just recently come back from traveling, and this trip had a lot of moving pieces, and I had been worried and stressed and kind of losing sleep for a while before the trip, worrying about all these things that, could possibly go wrong. They weren't necessarily things I could control, things like traffic and parking and whether my flights would be on time, and being in a wedding where the only person I knew was the bride, and am I going to feel out of place, or are people going to be mean to me? And there were a couple of snags on my trip. Not any of the things that I had worried about. Those all went fine. But some other things had come up. But I was, it wasn't fun, but I was able to figure them out, and it was all okay. But just that that grocery shopping trip with my shoe falling apart and milk exploding all over seemed like just you can't miss it. A way of just, okay, yeah. I hadn't even thought to worry about that. I've worried about all these other things that never happened. And the things that did, it's not what I even thought to worry about. And it might seem like my point is just like, don't worry, you can't control it anyway. And, I guess that's true, but that doesn't feel very helpful. At least that sort of thing has never helped me calm my mind at 3 a.m. And instead, I've been thinking about how the more I criticize myself for worrying or try to just dismiss my worries or just be like, oh, there's nothing to worry about, or you can't control it anyway, so why stress? That doesn't really help. It just makes me feel kind of misunderstood or unseen. And, because when we're worried, there's a part of us that's scared. And fear isn't this just like rational, logical thing that we can just talk rationalize our way out of. We can't reason our way out of it. It's deeper. It's primal. And what I really need in those moments is not so much telling myself, like, don't do that. It's compassion and care and coming alongside myself to be like, ooh, yeah. I can see that you're feeling scared. And there's a lot you're worried about. And practicing, staying with myself and showing myself that, yeah, things do happen. Because I can't tell myself, oh, nothing bad will ever happen. Because that's just not true. But the more I keep showing up, I can show myself, okay, things happen, but I won't abandon you. I will stay with you, and we can figure this out. We can ask for help if we need it. But I'm here. And, this is kind of the work I do. I work with people as they grow their self-trust and learn to really be on their own side. And we do that just with this foundation of kindness. So I will, if you're interested in learning any more about that, I'll put a link in the video description where you can find out more. And today, if you have something you're worried about, something you're stressing about, I just want to send you a big hug. And I'll be back with more soon. In the meantime, remember, you can trust yourself.